ladies and gentlemen, CVS here giving you another Starbow game, and this time it's going to be Dirtybag playing Protoss actually. He does play different races, and he will be playing versus his opponent in the bottom side of this map, and his name will be Franscar. What's the map, CVS? I'm glad you asked, Mr. Stranger. The map is Destination, Neo Destination actually, and it's a very interesting map. It's a port from Brood War. It has this main ramp there into the natural with double bridges, which is kind of hard for Protoss especially to try to wall off in a good way versus Zerg. It also has a back entrance with what's called regenerative mineral fields. Now, these doesn't actually give you any minerals. A worker just keeps mining these consistently, but they also keep regenerating all the time, so one worker takes forever mining this out. You actually, if you get a bunch of workers, it goes really fast, but you don't get any minerals back. I'll have nightmares dropping frames, because yeah, hopefully I don't drop any. Let me know in the chat if there's a lot of lag. I did remove what may have been the cause of dropping frames the first time I tried to do this. Dirtybag going for that wall on the low ground, like I said, gateway first actually, instead of forge, so that's quite interesting. Let's see if he's gonna drop another one. He's gonna drop another one, so that's gonna be a 2-gate pressure, which is quite unusual in this matchup, but Dirtybag is a pretty good player. I think he knows what he's doing. And maybe he has some success rate with this. There's a very, very quick extractor from Franscar. I guess he's gonna... Oh, I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna do what I always do. He's gonna go for a 10 pull with speed, which is super good because he can put on some early pressure with speed links without losing too much economy. That's pretty sweet. Probing around. Oh, I should go and kill myself. But he doesn't have that much larva. No, yeah, he's got enough larva, and now he's gonna have 100 gas. He's only gonna make... Is he gonna make enough links? Man, I do this better than you, Franscar. I'm sorry, but... Oh, why doesn't he have any money to do this? He's been... Like, you usually should have more than enough money to do this. Has he been making... some extra... Like, is he make... Oh, he's making a super early queen. That's what's going on. Yeah, I was like, what's going on here? Why doesn't he have more money for Zerglings? But there we go. The queen was really early. Interesting. I don't do it this way, so that's gonna be interesting. And I love this probe hiding in the bushes. Shh. Or in the ashes, I mean, or something. What is that? It's like some sort of half-dead breathing plant-ish thing with fire next to it. Anyhow, Zerglings going across the map. There's gonna be, oh, a very nice Zealot block here. But there is, oh, he's gonna put the pylon nut right in time. Very nice blockage from Dirtybag. Look at that. 3 Zealots on the bridge. I think it's gonna make it completely tight. In the meantime, the probe is gonna go back in and see everything. He pretty much knows what's going on. He's gonna try and surround the Zerglings. He has 5 Zealots already? That's so fast. That's 4 minutes, 5 Zealots. That's like, if N is the number of minutes, he has N plus 1 Zealots. It's incredible. Yes, I'm streaming again. No, I'm not gonna stream for long, Alpha Squad. It's just one game. Anyhow, so many Zerglings going into the main base, and actually the Zealots in the meantime are going back into the base of Franscar. It's gonna be like a base trade right off the bat. Kill a couple of probes. How many actually? That's actually quite important. Okay, 3 already. It's gonna try and kill a pylon. The probes and the Zealots gonna chase the Zerglings away. In the meantime, the Zealots are gonna focus on the hatchery and not go into the main, and so he's not gonna try and get some instant economy pressure. No, he is. He's actually going into the main, but here's already a spine crawler set up in an interesting place. It's a good place for the ramp, but he can just go around it and start harassing these workers. In the meantime, the Zerglings are running around, but there's enough Zealots now to start to actually deal with these Zerglings. And they're going back home to help defend versus the 5 Zealots in the probe. He needs to reposition his spine crawler. He's not doing it, and these drones are going to go down if he's not careful. He's going to get the queen. He gets a good surround of the queen with the probe there. Nice that he brought that probe. The queen goes down super fast. He's going to try and save his spawning pool. He really needs to get the probe at least. So the spine crawler is... Okay, that's the right position for the spine crawler. Now there's a lot of Zerglings. He could be dealing with this. That's a good concave for the Zealots. It was a good concave. It got a little bit worse. It's trying to minimize the surface area, and he's gonna get all the Zealots eventually. That's a lot of Zerglings that was forced out, though. And where are all the workers? They're all here at the natural. So if we look at the total workers kill tab, actually, Dirtybag didn't kill a single drone. That's pretty big, but he did follow up with lots and lots of more Zealots. He's gonna go for round number 2 here. He's not giving up the Zealot aggression yet. He's not expanding. He's not taking. He's just making Zealots. And these Zerglings can't really do nothing unless they can circumvent again like they could do last time. Franscar is just gonna hang outside for a little bit. It's gonna calm down a little bit. There's no gas being taken yet, and he's gonna try and go and bust down these pylons, but this is very dangerous because the Zealots could try and yeah, block them in there. So okay, it just kind of panned out. I don't know who's ahead right now. I think Dirtybag has more workers. Yes. No. I was looking at army. He has more army. Franscar has more workers, but it's about the same. But Franscar has another base, and that's pretty big at this point. Dirtybag really needs to expand as soon as possible, or make something happen with his Zealots. Yes. Please follow Alpha Squad SC. He provides lots of Starbow content these days. And we try to take shifts on providing Starbow content, me and him, and sometimes we cast together as well, so. Oh, he's gonna lose all the Zerglings! Dirtybag is! I mean, Franscar is, and that's unfortunate. There's lots and lots of Zealots incoming here for Dirtybag, and I don't know if Franscar can hold against this. He's making a nice wall here, he's gonna put a couple of spine crawlers, but he needs to block this ramp, because, yes, you can have like a super nice, like, walled off spine crawlers that they have a hard time getting a hold of. But then they can just run past them and get into the ramp if you're not careful. So, I mean into the base, main base. So he's gonna hold the ramp, he's got enough energy for one injustice, got enough energy for a transfuse here if he wants to save the other energy or some spine crawlers, and the Zealots just walk out again. That's very unfortunate for Dirtybag, who's been, I think he's falling behind now, as he made all these Zealots and they can't really do anything. He's gonna try and get some drones. Franscar's been incredible by not losing a single drone this entire game yet, in spite of the relentless aggression from Dirtybag. Dirtybag, in the meantime, though, is going to get his expansion up. And so many Zerglings, though, that Franscar had to make, but he has to make these. Like, this is so many Zealots. Look at that. That's just, it's a group of 12 Zealots, and that's a force to be reckoned with. This is a full control group from Brood War. Oh, and he's going to get the Spine Crawler. There we go. Oh, man. Dirtybag again retreating. He's gonna need to rift out of there, or maybe try to do some more damage first. Or just maybe he can just run away. Okay, the Zerglings alone are gonna try and engage the Zealots without Queen and without Spine Crawlers, and I don't know if that's a good idea. He lost 3 Zerglings. I think it was more. Anyhow, Dirtybag finally taking to Cybercore, finally taking his expansion, still making Zealots just to be safe. And if Franscar would have gotten like super fast Mutalisk or something, he probably would have died, to be honest. Like, yes, he could have dealt with the Zealots, but I don't think he would have gotten there without dying, because he's just been forced to save his economy and make defenses and Zerglings of his own. There's just no point attacking this. Look at this incredible amount of Zealots. That's like almost 16 Zealots. 15 in other words. I'm so good with numbers. So, okay, Franscar finally has speed. You know, he's had speed a long time ago. He started speed like ages ago. Yeah, it's just been seems so slow. It's Dirtybag who doesn't have speed, and he's getting a Stargate, he's getting a Twilight Council. He can take super safe now. He has such a big army, and there's really nothing Franscar can do about that army unless he goes for like really fast Mutas. But if he goes for really fast Mutas, like, he still needs to tank, or even really fast Lurkers. So Dirtybag still doesn't need to make any more Zealots at this point to feel safe, but he might need to make some Observers or Corsairs to get speed upgrade and things like that. So Franscar is calming down, or everything is calming down. He's actually getting a Baneling Nest, and he's getting 1-1. That's very interesting. We could try to see some Banelings. Okay, the Banelings in Starbow at this point, I'm pretty sure it was, this replay is getting like about a week old, but I'm pretty sure that the Banelings at this point, when the Baneling hits, all the splash damage, or, you know, there's a tiny bit of damage, like 4 or something completely insignificant, but all the units that get hit by the Baneling in the splash, every attack done to them for a short period of time deals 2 extra damage per Baneling, and that stacks up to 9 times. So that's actually a possibility of 18 extra damage per hit. So that synergizes crazy well with the Zergling, who hits incredibly fast. That can go from 5 damage per hit to 23 damage per hit, which is like crazy for a Zergling. But then you're gonna need to hit with 9 Banelings, so that's a big sacrifice of Banelings. So it's a very, very interesting ability now. It still synergizes well with Zerglings and Mutas, as Banelings do in StarCraft 2, but it does it in a non-direct damage way. Like, you can't just go Banelings. It's just, only Banelings makes no sense, because they deal almost no damage themselves. But they soften up the units so other units can come and clean them up real nice. It's somewhat similar to Plague. Like, you don't just Plague, you Plague and then you attack. So, Dirtybag moving out with a significant Zealot force. Franscar seeing this. Oh, Dirtybag was tricking Franscar! Oh, Franscar didn't go for it. No, he's gonna go for it? No. No, he's gotta be so careful. He doesn't want to get, like, caught with Zealots on each side of this bridge here. Oh, but Dirtybag has seen the expansion, or now he's seen it. I think he just suspected it. And there's where the Spore Crawler. Oh, I guess he was gonna build it there and then move it over. But that Spore Crawler is gonna go down. Here comes the Banelings. Let's see how much potential damage they can do. Oh, they're so spread out, these Zealots, though. So see, they don't do a lot of damage, but now they have these Acid Spore Baneling things. And let's see how fast they can go down to Zerglings now. Now, these are only 2 Zerglings, so that's not gonna do too much. But here comes more Zerglings, more Banelings. They need to attack. There we go. And now the Zerglings can clean up the Zealots pretty fast. And you see the Zerglings doing a lot more damage to the Zealots now than they would usually do. And I don't know if it's still enough, though. Yes, I think it is. The Acid Spore's effect is wearing off, though. And the Zealots are finding themselves in a good position. But the Banelings worked. I don't know, like, it's an interesting question, like, would it have been better just to have more Zerglings? Or did the Banelings actually add a significant amount of an effect? And that's kind of hard to tell. We should actually do some math on that, but yeah. Anyhow, so Dirtybag is, has to be defensive now for a little bit. He's got all these Corsairs flying around. I don't know how much damage they've done. Let's look how many kills they have. They have like 0, 0, 0, 0. They haven't really done much, these Corsairs. He's just been scouting, which is kind of interesting because I think he could have done more damage, killed more Overlords and whatnot. There's really not too much out there. There's a couple of Spore Crawlers here and there. Like, it's just one Spore Crawler protecting all of these Overlords. And yeah. Sorry, I was just in a stupor of thought, but my mind is back now. It was just my body sitting there idly and my mind was going elsewhere, but this creep spread of Franscar is pretty significant. It's really good. Ooh, he's hallucinating Corsairs? While he has real Corsairs? That's really weird. Why don't he just scout with the real ones and try to get some Overlords killed? But he's gonna scout around with hallucinated ones, and that uses Templar energy too. That's really weird, to be honest. But it's gonna give an illusion to Franscar that he has more. Well, he's gonna see that these are. Yeah, he knows that these are. You don't fly around like this with non-hallucinated Corsairs. But here comes the push from Dirtybag again. He's gonna go with Zealots and Archons this time and Corsairs. This is a perfect composition. It is countered though by mass Hydralisks. There's really no splash here to deal with the Hydras. Well, if you only have a few Hydralisks, then this is a pretty deadly force. But this kills like Zerglings and Mutas super easy. But it doesn't really deal that well with Hydras nor Lurkers. But he has one High Templar if he can get some Storm going. The Storm isn't even finished yet. And he's just going to use this force to be intimidating. I really love the army movement here from Dirtybag. Like, he moves across the bridges, he pushes back his opponent, he makes him defensive, and then he goes and takes an expansion. Like, I know that sounds kind of like weird, like why would he do that? But it's just the presence he gains. It's just a here am I, don't mess with me, don't it? Like, you need to be defensive now. And then he's defensive himself, it's really smart. But Franscar is not going for that bait. And he's going to see what's happening, that he's taking an expansion. And he doesn't have a storm yet. There's no storm. And Dirtybag just has to cancel and run back. He can't really fight this force head on without storm. Storm is so close to complete though. In 4 more seconds, where is the High Templar? There it is. He's going to try and protect it for as long as possible. But he doesn't really need it right now. His forces are big enough. Here comes the storm. And he should be able to chase this away quite nicely. But Dirtybag did lose a substantial part of his army in this attack though, and he did lose it on his side of the map, so he can't really push out because, yeah, Franscar can just remake units so fast now. So, Dirtybag is going to try and deny some creep spread. He has an observer already, which is really nice because the threat of potential lurkers are real. I don't think Franscar is going for it. He has a lair still. Okay, I don't think he's going for it. What am I saying, CFS? Here are the lurkers. And Franscar is getting lurkers, but I don't know, it might be too late. There's already an observer out. There's already a ton of High Templars, and he's already pushing down. He wants to see if there's a base here, and there is not. And going in there could be really dangerous because he could get him trapped. Here comes the Banelings first to soften up the units, make sure they take extra damage, but he needs to attack now because the Baneling effect wears off pretty quickly. He might be waiting too long here. Here we go, and here comes so many good storm stones on top of the lurkers, but the lurkers deal sick damage now that the banelings have done their effect. So Dirtybag doesn't really want to engage now. He wants to make sure this effect wears off first. It's Franscar who should want to be aggressive now and try to chase down. Those storms did a lot of damage, but there's a small group of very weakened Hydralisks left to try and pick off the High Templars of Dirtybag. Dirtybag sending in more reinforcement with Zealots though, and might be able to chase these Hydras away, but they're already turning away by themselves. Is it a little bit laggy? I really hope it's not. Let me check frames real quick. I have dropped some frames, but it's not too many. Oh, dropping coming from Franscar. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. He's gonna go just straight for it. He's not even trying to circumvent anything, which is good because there's a cell there who could see it. But he didn't know that was good. But actually, just flying over the creep is really smart because he has full vision where the creep is. He knows if he's going to be spotted or not on the creep, unless, of course, there's some observers here. But he's just going to go straight into the main base, and this is a very droppable main base. It's very exposed. In the meantime, Dirtybag is moving out with a small group of Zealots, but that's not really going to do that much. Here, he sees the drop now. How does he respond to this? Is he pulling any units back? There we go, now he's pulling the units. Franscar needs to burrow those lurkers. He could try and... No, there's really not that many probes here, but try and get the tech, get some pylons. Franscar isn't really paying attention to this because in the meantime he's always burrowing the banelings for some sort of baneling bombs. I don't know if baneling bombs can really work that well in Starbow, but he's just gonna... Doesn't need... This is such a waste of banelings because you need units to finish these off. In the meantime, oh, storming all over the units of Franscar. And man, Franscar losing battles on all sides here. I don't think this drop did that much, to be honest. He did force out a lot of storm. He might get some High Templars. Oh, they might destorm themselves, to be honest. Look at that. Get out of that storm. Kiss. There we go. Well, okay, here come the units. Now they can clean up the baneling acid spored Zealots from Dirtybag. But no. Oh, another excellent storm from Dirtybag. And it's going to be very difficult for Franscar to push up this ramp. In the meantime, Franscar is taking yet another base. He's secured this one. Dirtybag, in the meanwhile, is trying to get this one, and this should probably be the next base for Dirtybag. I love how Franscar is consistently burrowing Zerglings everywhere, and just to... Man, look at the map vision of Franscar. It's just incredible. Again, things are calming down a little bit. If we look at the production tab, we got Face Shield for the Observers, we have ground weapons level 3, we have attack weapons level 2, and they are doing really good on upgrades, both of them actually. This base is going to come up and it's going to be defended. And the army composition now for Franscar is Baneling Lurker Hydra at the moment, which is really where he's going to add a lot of Zerglings. Maybe he's going to go for some Roachlings? No, it doesn't look like it. Roachlings are really not that good versus Protoss at all. They're really not that good in general, to be honest. We might need to work on them. Oh, they explode even if they just die? That's kind of odd. That means you can't really counter them except for range units. Okay, anyhow, more drop incoming. Oh, he needs to drop! Oh, he's gonna lose. Oh, he loses an Overlord with units. He uses another Overlord with units, and he uses another Overlord with units. And Franscar needs to burrow, and he... Yeah, these drops are not working for him. Dirtybag is doing a really good job deflecting these jobs, and these drops, I can't talk. The jobs are deflected. Oh, this lurker is just gonna stay alive, I guess, because in the meantime, Franscar loves to do this multi-prong. He drops in the main and tries to attack this third base, and it's not really working for him, but it's a good effort. If there's... He's doing it right. Like, you should, every time you drop, you should try and do other stuff as well, because you're distracting usually a bigger portion of the army than you should. Most players overreact to drops and pull more units than they should, and leave themselves vulnerable in other locations, of course. So again, it's just staying on many bases, 5 bases versus 4 bases. No one player is really ahead or behind at this moment. Army is bigger for Dirtybag, but economy is bigger for Franscar. The technology is about the same. Adrenal glands incoming. A lot of upgrades for both of them. I would love to see some Reavers come out for Dirtybag eventually, just to deal with all these lurkers. And just because Reavers are awesome in general. Franscar with a very good position here on the bridge, but I don't know if it's enough units versus the army of Dirtybag. Here comes the Banelings, gonna crash into Dragoons. But the thing about these Banelings is now that they all hit so well, he has to actually go and do some damage. But Dirtybag doesn't care if his army is more exposed. He's gonna go for it. And I think this is a mistake from Dirtybag. He should pull back and wait for the Baneling effect to fall down, because these Zerglings are gonna do so much damage now. Yeah, this was a mistake. He should have just stayed for a little bit longer and let Franscar just have this position for just a tad longer while the Baneling effect was wearing off. He didn't really need to attack right there. Anyhow, Ultralisk incoming now. It's the final tech for Franscar, I think. Maybe except for Devour Guardian or something later on, but I doubt that we'll see that. Dirtybag is staying on his composition. I guess in PvZ he's like the only matchup where you see Protoss actually wants to make like a ball of units. Like you want to have a good combination of units. And Dirtybag tries to expand here, but he's not going to get. He's still not expanded over here. I wonder if he's tried, and this Burrow Zergling has prevented him. I haven't really been paying attention to that, but it's going to be very difficult for Dirtybag to take this base, I think. Oh, and there's another Burrow Zergling there. I love this for Franscar. It's so cute. And Franscar with a very small group of units here are not going to be able to deflect the ball from Dirtybag. Like I was saying, you really need like a big healthy mixture of units as a Protoss player versus Zerg. And once you lose that army, it's very hard to build it up again. I guess it's the most SE2-esque army you have in Starbow. Anyhow, Dirtybag is storming like crazy. Storms does not stack though, so he should wait a little bit longer intervals before storming again. And he's losing a couple units in the front. There we go. And nice storm there, baiting units into the storm. And these High Templars are losing all the energy. They should. Man, that's so much storm. So many High Templars. He needs to make Archons and Rift them out of there. Rift was not nerfed at this time. No, he's just going to bring more reinforcements and just keep on with the aggression. He doesn't want to bring them home. He wants to stay out here. He wants to deal the damage, and he wants to try and expand behind this, and he's almost doing so. But the Ultralisks are incoming, and they're going to do so much damage. It's going to be very hard for Dirtybag to deal with this. He still have the Corsairs, but they're not really doing anything. I think Disruption Wave would have been very useful now. They're so high on energy, and they're just dead weight at this point, but he needs to get a fleet beacon to get that. But in the meantime, he's losing his entire army, and Franscar is pushing very far ahead now. It's going to be so hard for Dirtybag to push out again. He doesn't really have an army anymore. And these Corsairs, though, could try and... Yeah, there we go. That's what Corsairs should be doing. Look at that. And they're going to kill so many Overlords. Oh, the splash damage is so painful. Pop, pop, pop. They pop like little gassy balloons. That's not helium, ladies and gentlemen, but it keeps them flying anyway. Maybe it's hydrogen, because it's more like explosive and violent. Hydrogen is even lighter than helium, so that makes sense. Ah, problem. Mystery solved. What's inside the Overlords is hydrogen. Green, gassy hydrogen. Anyhow, Dirtybag has some High Templars now. He could storm this ramp very well, but he might kill his own Dark Templars in the process. He's got to be careful. Ooh, oh no, he's going to be fine with that Dark Templars. Look at that bathing effect from the buildings. Incredible. Looks like they've all been fungled. Like with a really bad fungal too. I don't know if there's any good fungals though. Anyhow, here comes the Maynarding probes. Okay, that's not too exciting. I don't know why I was commentating on that. Franscar taking yet another base in the meantime. And if we look at the technology here, that's a lot of technology. Best comment ever. Much technology. Such technology. Dirtybag with a lot of kills in this Corsairs. Now, Franscar is still not supply blocked because he's just making tons and tons of Overlords. He should get like a big old group of Spore Crawlers together and just keep them protected, I guess. But he's just doing fine. He's just being pro about it. He doesn't need to be noobish. Reaver's finally incoming now. And Dark Templars is swarming around the map. Were they trying to do something here? Or is this Overseer preemptive? He sees this base, he sees there's very few Zerglings here, there is an Overseer, so he could just send over those Corsairs and pop it. Go, pop, pop, pop that thing. He's gonna try and kill these Overseers, I suppose. Oh, he's gonna try and catch a High Templar, and he's gonna get it. There we go, this small task force. Mission accomplished. Another, hey, getting a Dark Templar too. That's the Dark Templar I was going to go to harass. And he needs to pull the Dark Templars back and get the Corsairs in to kill the Overseers first, and then send in the Dark Templars. I'm always correcting people on anything, and I can't play this game myself, so I should just shut up about that. But it's, regardless, it's really cool to see these players duke it out, and they're doing it really, really well. And the Reaver in the War Prism incoming. I love how Dirtybag is able to control so many different parts and aspects of his army. Every time I make Reavers in a Protoss army, they just lag behind the rest of their army because I'm too lazy to put them in and out of War Prism when I have so many other units to control. Lurkers are burrowed, a lot of no, okay, actually I'll take that back. A very small portion of Franscar's army, the rest is over here. Yeah, the rest. Anyway, good storms from Dirtybag. And he should be able to hold this, I feel, especially on the ramp here. Gets one Overseer, another one has 7 hit points left. Very, very little. And he could, well, he can go, oh, he can get the Overseer, and then he could send in the Dark Templars. That would actually be really good, but there we go, he sees it now. And he leaves it alone. For whatever reason, I'm not gonna start questioning his decisions at the moment. Defiler and Consume incoming. There was no... Ultralisk was not the last part of the tech tree for Franscar. It was Defilers. And another drop incoming. He hasn't been too successful with this, but now he has Adrenal Glands, and that changes everything. His Circlings become so hyperactive now. But there is a Reaver here. It's ready to be dropped and defended. Oh, but here comes the Corsairs, and it's so hard to drop versus Corsairs, but he gets all the units out at least before the Overlords die. This Reaver, he needs to microwave, and it's gonna go down, and that's unfortunate for Dirtybag. I think he lost his Warp Prism. No, it's right there. Okay. I'm gonna stop complaining about their mistakes. That's not the point of this cast, I'm sorry. 9 more Overlords incoming. Consume is almost done. He's gonna try and bust up this ramp, but he wants to wait for Dark Swarm. So if we look at Franscar's army at the moment, he has 6 Ultralisk, 4 Defilers, 2 Lurkers, and 5 he doesn't really have that big of an army, but neither does his opponent. They kind of been scraping the whole game with smaller groups. They haven't, every time they reach a certain point, they just want to move out and be aggressive with them, make sure his opponent can't get too many bases. But ladies and gentlemen, every single base on this map is about to be taken at this point now, and Franscar is actually trying to sneak out this base, and that's going to be very difficult to hold. And Dirtybag sees it with his Warp Prism, and he might just drop the Reaver, and no, he's just going to keep going. He's going to do some actual damage, because here are all the juicy probes. He's going to have a Reaver and Storm drop. That's the most DPS you can ever get out as a Protoss player. And he's going to kill quite a bit of drones. Oh my, he's killing quite a bit of drones, and it's kind of like a Reaver Corsair on the... He's going for like a normal army with Reaver Corsair on the side. It's like... Oh, he could get all the Defilers! That would be huge! These Defilers do not want to be there. Oh, they move our way right at the last second, and here come the Ultralists. Now they can try and fight. But he did do some damage there. In the meantime, all the Zealots and the rest of the army, the main army, the entree, this is kind of like the... what do you call it? The appetizer. Here's the main army, the meat and potatoes of Dirtybag, and they are going to try and get this hatchery before he loses his army, because here comes the... Okay, that's not too many units. I'll take that back. He's probably not going to lose this army, but he's definitely going to kill this hatchery, and Franscar burrowing his drones is kind of cute to try and save them. He has burrows, so why not utilize it? Some good storms hit, but storms don't really do too much versus Ultralisks. Here's the rest of the army of Franscar. Tons of Ultralisks. They're all going to get really low on health, but they're all pretty much going to survive, it seems, and he can kill the Dark Templars as well. No rifting out. He's just going to, try to focus down the Defiler. That's kind of smart. But the Ultralisks are so strong with those upgrades. It's so hard to deal with them. He needs like Reaver Archon to deal with these Ultralisks. And he's getting Reavers. He's getting lots of Reavers. Even getting a couple of... Oh, he's getting Warp Gate technology. That's kind of interesting. Warp Gate in late game can be really strong if he gets to sneak out some Warp Prisms here and there. He can start to like warp in here in the main base and pull your opponent every which way. Late game is definitely the time you want to have your army more together than any other time of the game. And to pull your opponent apart is really strong in the late game. And we're definitely getting into late game stages of this game, as every expansion is now officially taken as Franscar got his hatchery up. It's official now, ladies and gentlemen. Cepheus said so. It's Cepheus' stamp of official approval. Anyway, Baneling's incoming now, because why not? Franscar actually isn't even maxed, and Dirtybag is about to be maxed with a very interesting army. He's got so many Reavers. He's gonna need more dropships for these Reavers before he can't make them. Banelings are done. They're gonna crash into the Zealots, do lots and lots of damage. I mean, potential future damage. And yeah, Dirtybag does not want to engage. It's the only thing that can actually do damage here are the Reavers, and they're doing a lot of damage together with the Storm, but Plug, is gonna be dealt up. That was so much damage. Storm plus Reavers is crazy high DPS output, and the Dragoons do nothing because they're under Dark Swarm. Even this guy no, he's not, but the Reavers are just dealing with everything, and that was actually a huge blow to Franscar's army size. Look at that. Dirtybag is pulling ahead army-wise, and he could try and take this base down now. He's gonna try and... Oh, gotta be so careful with the Warp Prism! Oh, he loses the Warp Prism with the Reavers. Warp Prism. One of these days I'm gonna learn how to pronounce words. In the meantime, I'll just be casting games, because who needs to pronounce words if you're a caster? He's gonna send in one Zealot. He's gonna see that it's a lot. Oh, you see what I did there? Anyway, Hydra is coming from this direction, Ultra is coming from this direction, and there is no more Reavers left for that high DPS output, only Storm and Dragoons, and now Franscar can chase back the army of Dirtybag. Franscar again turning the tide for the biggest army, and he's getting ahead in army supply, and he's rebuilt this base. It's not being contested while it's heavily under defended. That's a word, I promise. He could make a couple of warp gates, warp in some Dark Templars there, and go and attack this. I would have loved to see that happen, but there's a ton of things he could have done, of course, but he's doing so many other things. Let's look at these guys' APM, right? So there's no way I can judge them for that, but instead he's just moving his army down there. That also works. That was easier than making warp gates, warping in, and then sneaking in a couple units. Actually, two Dirtybag Zealots are going to do a lot of work, although he did burrow most of the drones. So things are stabilizing a little bit again. More Reavers income. Is he going to keep up with the Reavers? At this point, Dirtybag has such a good income that he can make some choices when it comes to what units he's going to make, and it seems that it's going to be mass High Templar. Now this may be from the fact that he's floating a lot of gas. Some nice Reaver drop here. Sorry I missed first part of that. He's going to try and get all these static defenses down, and he's going to get some floating cannons here on the high ground. He's Franscar, I told you this base is going to be hard to take for you. This is not going to be an easy base to hold, and he's making sure that's the case. This is definitely the next map that Dirtybag wants to take, but in the meantime, there's so many units on this ramp. One storm and everything is decimated. Why? He needs to have Dark Swarm to bust this ramp, but even with Dark Swarm, I don't know if he can do it. There's Reavers, there's High Templars. This is not a base that's easy to kill. This base, on the other hand, is quite easy now for Dirtybag to kill. Look at that. Like, you did not want to take that base. Oh wow, that's brutal. He's actually going to try and defend this though. He might lose more units than it's... Oh yeah, this is not a base you want to try and take. Oh, but these Reavers are getting dangerously close to the Hydras. But Reavers here are so well protected with the cannons and the High Templar high ground, dude. So, okay. It's official, it's a Doom drop. This is the biggest drop I think I've seen in a very long time. Look at that drop. Here we go. I should have Ride of the Valkyries singing in the background. And the Reavers are going to try and defend the best they can, but they can't really defend versus this, to be honest. Dark Swarm going down, Banelings are down. Actually, the drop was surprisingly small. Okay, there we go. More units coming out. And he's going to try and get all the production of Dirtybag. How will Dirtybag respond to this? Is he going to try and go for a counterattack, seeing that most of the Franscar's army is up here? Or is he going to try and save his main base? He's going to try and micro the Reavers as much as possible, though, and he can micro Reavers all day long because there are no Hydras in this drop, but he's not doing that. He's pulling units back. The oodles of High Templar. Wow, that's so many. That's 10 High Templars. More units being dropped, and here comes the Hydras. Now he can deal with Reavers and more Prisms, but he's killing Forges instead. Plagu on the Zealots. That was some really nice plagues, but here comes so many storms. It's just gonna blanket everything. The weather forecast is not looking good for Franscar. That was such a cheesy joke, and he's losing a lot of High Templars. Being a little bit reckless with them. Like, I have so many High Templars. Take them. I don't need them anymore. So, I don't know if I will call that drop successful. A lot of tech did go down. There were some forges and stuff. I think the Cyber Core said, no, it's over there. Actually, all of the important tech is intact. Because I think he has his Reaver tech over. No, did he lose his Robotics Bay? No, he didn't even lose that. And he's gonna lose a lot of Overlords. Are there any Corsairs left on this map? No. They were killed at some point. So everything is gonna calm down a little bit. A couple of change things are gonna just check around. It's gonna... Okay, he's actually remaking this base. This went down at some point, I guess. I'm such a good caster. I guess this happened at some point. I didn't get it. I don't know. Oh, these Reavers. Can he save them? Oh, can he save the Warp Prism? Man, Dirtybag, when he focused on microing that Warp Prism, he does a heck of a good job. I lost one Reaver there, but the Warp Prism gets alive, safe and sound. More Reavers incoming. Franscar is supply block, needs to get oodles of Overlords. And Franscar is slipping behind now, I feel. Because the income rate has been kind of steady for a while now. There's really no more bases to take. And as long as Protoss has a lot of bases, he's just fine. Almost no matter how many bases his opponent has, but man, he does not. Dirtybag is mined out on every single base except for this one. And I want to focus a little bit on this attack now, but I'll look at Franscar's economy afterwards. Just to compare. Oh, so many drones hits. He can't burrow these drones. Or he can just get them out of there on the Overlords. Here comes the Ultralisk to defend though, but the Reavers do so much damage, the Dragoons does really nothing, but the Reavers are the damage dealers. He saves the Reavers, he needs to get out of there. He could try and snipe down these Defilers, he's not going to do that. So let's look at Franscar. He has this base mining out, but it's running low. This one is pretty much empty. Well, he's considering it empty. So this is the only real future mining base for Franscar. He's got this one for a couple more minutes, and then he needs to saturate this one. And Dirtybag only has this one. Oh, and sorry, and this one, of course. Okay, so Franscar right now has a pretty decent income compared to his opponent, but it's soon going to be nothing for both of them. So this is going into the very late stages of this game. Destination has a way to do this with PVC sometimes. It just gets going. Oh, the Scourges could try and snipe the War Prism. He really has nothing to protect. These Scourges will definitely... He could storm them. He could decoy with another War Prism. He can send in the Archons! Oh wow, he saves the War Prism. That was actually pretty huge. In the meantime, some Reavers are going to come in. I don't know why he's pulling out with the Zealots. I guess he wanted to meet up with the rest of his army. He got plagued in the meantime. And these Defilers are just going to go down. That's unfortunate. These are expensive units. Okay, he's going to burrow. That's not a good burrow. It looks like they're just... they're crouching down. That's all they're doing. Like, it's like an ostrich just putting his head in the sand. Like, you can't see me. Oh, the Defiler's gonna go down to storm. There's a couple of lurkers being burrowed now, and there's no observer here right now. And actually, there's no observer with this army at all. So making some lurkers now is actually really smart. And wow, Franscar is just killing this because of the lack of detection. That's actually pretty good, and Franscar can hold on to this base a little bit longer. And Dirtybag is officially mined out. Oh, here's the observer. But how many units does Dirtybag? These are all the units Dirtybag is gonna have for the rest of this game, and he desperately needs to stop the income of Franscar to be able to stay into this game. Franscar may have won this now. If Franscar can just deal with this army and keep this base alive. He actually doesn't even need to keep this base alive. Because, well, no, Dirtybag doesn't have resources to even put down a Nexus here. So, Franscar is going to have more income for a longer period of time. He can start distance mining, I guess. Oh, but he loses an Archon. Oh, he loses War Prisms, but he doesn't lose the Observer, which is huge. But now, I think this is it. I think Franscar has done it. He's just gonna slowly whittle down the forces of Dirtybag. So much storm, but it's just not gonna do it because Dirtybag doesn't have any source of income. This is it. He has one Archon, and that's it. Oh, there's some. They're gonna try mining, but there's a lurker here. You don't want to mine close to lurkers, but he doesn't. Oh, he knows. He's gonna attack with these probes. Actually, he's gonna micro this Archon as best as his ability. He's got nothing else to do. He might as well micro this Archon. There's another Reaver that he found somewhere miraculously. Does he have an observer? Ooh, it kills so many probes. He needs to micro this Reaver for the life of him. Here's so many Hydras. More probes incoming to join the fight. He needs this base so desperately, and so does Franscar at this point as he's getting mined out on his bases. And oh, the lurker killing so many workers behind this. The Archon's no, the Archon's still alive. The Reaver's still alive. They're both so low on health, and he's killing the units now. He needs to kill this lurker. But here comes more Hydralisks. Ah, he's gonna lose. He's gonna lose both. Okay, he lost the Reaver. This is pretty much it. I think he only has an Archon left. Archons can't really contend with these Hydras. He needs to get shot off, get out of there. And oh, that Archon is so close to being dead. Look at the micro of Dirtybag, and then the Archon goes down. And this is it, ladies and gentlemen. GG, Franscar takes this game.